Okay, we've got to put these numbers in order from the smallest to the largest. They're decimals, but the easiest way to do this is to give them the same amount of decimal places. So it's got 3 decimal places, so I'm going to put 2 zeros there. I'm going to put 0 here, a 0 here. Okay. Now it's a little bit easier to see, because if I treat them as whole numbers, I've got 610, 100, 160, and 106. So my smallest is going to be 0.100. I'm going to cross it out, just so I've done it. Then it's going to be 0.106. I'm going to cross it out. And then 0.160, cross it out, and then 0.610. If you want it to be fast, you can show off just by getting rid of the decimal places. So it's more like a question, but a lot of times this is not needed. Right, 0.037 as a fraction. Easiest way to do it is for your numerator, just put the digits, which would be 37. And for every digit after the decimal place, underneath you'd write 1, but you put that as many zeros, so it's going to be 37 over 1,000. The other way you can think about it, if you think about your place value, okay, of units, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, okay, 0.037 goes into my thousandths, which means it'll be 37 over 1,000. 20th odd number. Now try and think about it logically. My first odd number is going to be 1. My second odd number is going to be 3. My third odd number is going to be 5. My fourth odd number, 7. Now you start want to look at the pattern between the actual position of the odd number and the odd number itself. Okay. If you look at it, you can see it for a while. The pattern really is that you double it and minus 1. Okay, so 3 doubled is 6 minus 1, 4 doubled is 8 minus 1. So my 20th odd number will be double it, which is 40, and minus 1, which is 39. So my answer is 39. Okay, you write down all the factors of 20, and be careful, this is not prime factorisation, so don't do a prime factor tree. Let's just do it logically. 1 times 20 is 20, and we'll do 2. 2 times 10, and I'm going to try 3. 3 doesn't go into 20, so I'm going to cross it out. Then I'll try 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Now I don't need to try 5 because 5 is here, and now because they meet, I know I've got all the possible factors. Tanya's got chocolate bars for year 7s. She needs 130 chocolate bars. There's 8 bars per packet, so we need to work out what's the least amount of packets we can buy. Now basically all we need to do is we need to do 8 divided by 130. Now you might not know your 8 times table, so it's always best just to write it down the side. 8 plus 8 is 16, then plus 8 is 24, then plus 8 again is 32. Plus 8 again is 40, then 48, then 56. And if I need any more, I'll just write them more. Right, how many 8s go into 1? It doesn't. I've got 1 left over. How many 8s go into 13? Well, 13's in between here, so it's your first one. Okay, then you need to work out the difference between 8 and 13. So to know what to carry over. So it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Which makes it 5. How many 8s into 15? Now this one needs to go, 50 is about there. So I know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I'll put a couple of decimal points here because I'm going to need to carry something over. 8 into 50, I'm going to have 6 carried over, so I'm going to put 6 there. How many 8 into 60? It's the next one along, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 7. Now I could keep going, and this will eventually end around about here somewhere. But the question is actually asking me what's the least amount of chocolate bars. So I know that 17.6 something is the amount of chocolate bars. I can't buy 0.7th of a chocolate bar. So the actual answer is going to be 17. So I have a die, which is a singular dice. Probably gets an odd number. Now you've got to think about your dice. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the odd numbers I've actually got are going to be 1, 3, 5. If you think about that, 3 out of 6. 3 out of 6 is half. So I'm going to put it across here. Okay. A number less than 5. Now again, you've got to think about this. Numbers less than 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be 4 out of 6. Now this is actually divided up into sixths, which is handy. So it's actually going to be 4 out of 6, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is going to be this bit here. Sally earned £60 for 8 hours work. We want to work out how much 1 hour is. So we've got to see how many times does 8 go into 60. Now, how many times does 8 go into 60? Now there's times tables I know, there's times tables are a bit hard. 8 is quite a little bit of a hard times table, so I'm just going to write it out just to help me out with my division. So it's 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64. Okay. How many times does 8 go into 6? It doesn't, so I've got to put a 0, but I've got 6 left over. How many times does 8 go into 60? Now that's hard for me, but I've already written this out. 60 is in between these numbers, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be 7. Now 56 isn't 60, I've got 4 left over, so I'm going to have to put the 4 here. Now this 4 doesn't belong to anything, so I'm going to have to put a decimal place in. I'll put a 0. Now I normally put quite a few zeros, just because I don't know how long this is going to be. If I put my decimal place at the bottom, I need to put my decimal place at the top. How many times does 8 go into 40? So I put my decimal place at the top. How many times does 8 go into 40? 8 goes exactly into 40. I can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 7.5. Okay, now again you've got to think about, that's really 7.5. Now we're dealing with money, so I've got to put pound sign in to make sure it's pounds, and then here I have to put a 0. It just is convention to have like 50p. You wouldn't say 0.5s and 50p. The other way you could have it at 750 pence, which is equally fine. But the only thing you can't have £7 50 pence, because this is just nonsense. It's just absolutely confusing, and you'll get no marks for that. Work out 15% of 80. Now we've got to think about which percentages are easy to add up. So it's going to be like your 10s or your 1s or your 2s. Now I'm always going to do 10% and your 1%. I just think it's a lot easier. Now there is an easier way to get 5, which you can just do 10% and halve it. But I can all work out 1% of every single number, and I can work out 10% of every number. So 10% is going to be 8, okay, because you divided by 10. Or 1% of 80, we're going to divide by 100, which is 0.8. And I'm going to do that 5 times. Now the reason why I didn't just halve 10% to get 4 is just because then if there's other questions we can answer this. And now you just got to add them up. So it's going to be 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So it's going to be 0, decimal place, carry the 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. So 15% of 80 is 12. 3 red beads, 1 blue bead in a jar. A bead is taken around from a jar. What's the property that the bead is blue? Or there's 1 blue. Out of in total there's 4, so the answer is a quarter. The ratio of a black to green is 2 to 5. What fraction is black? Now the easiest way again is actually just to write this out. So I've got 2 black ones, which is 1, 2, and I've got 5 green. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a little bit easier now to work everything out. Fraction of black, I've got 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 out of 7. Okay. Work this out without drawing it out. The 2 with black is this 2 here, and your 7 just comes from adding your 2 and your 5 together to make 7. 1, 2, and 3. How many numbers can be made by using these cards? Now, I'm going to do it a long way. I'm just going to do it logically. So I can get 123, and I can get 132. That's all the ones with 100 in front. So now I'll do one with 2s in front. I'll get 213, and then 231. There's no other I can make with the 2s in front, so I'll do it with 3. I can make 321. Or 312. Okay, now I've done this logically. I've done all the 100s, done all the 200s, done all the 300s, so I've got all the possible ones, which means I've got 6. So my answer is 6. Now if you want to do it another way, we can think of my first card. I've actually got 3 options because I've got a 1, 2 or a 3, so it's going to be 3. My second choice of cards, I've only got 2, because if I chose a 1 to begin with, I've only got 2 left. So it's going to be 3 times 2. And when I've got that, I've only really got 1 option to choose at the end, which is a 1. 3 times 2 times 1, which actually equals 6. Either way, it's the same answer. So Paul's organised an event for charity. He's bought 395 tickets. The tickets cost £19.95 and he's paid £6,000. All the profit he's made is given to charity, so we need to estimate how much he's given to charity. Now these numbers are horrible numbers to work with, so what we're going to do is we're going to estimate them by making them into nicer numbers. So it's £19.95. I'm just going to make that £20. Okay, 395 tickets. Again, I don't like that number. I'm actually going to change it to 400 tickets. 6,000. I'm just going to keep 6,000. Now, if he sold 400 tickets for £20 each, all we have to do now is just do 20 times 400. Now, easiest way to do that is 2 times 4, which is your 8, and then add each 0, so 1 0, 2 3, as there's 3 zeros in the question, there's 3 in the answer. So I'm estimating that he's made £8,000, sorry. He's paid £6,000, so we've got minus 6,000 from your 8,000, which makes it 2,000. So I estimated that he's going to give £2,000 for charity. Right, the second part of the question says, is this an over or an underestimate? Now, if we look back at our estimates, we've estimated 20, which is higher than 1995. We estimated 400, which is higher than 395. And we're timesing them, which again makes it bigger. In each case, we're using bigger numbers, which means our answer is going to be bigger. So it is an overestimate. It is an overestimate. And it's good to give a reason. So B, because all my estimated numbers are more than the accurate figures. So again, it is an overestimate because all of my estimated numbers are more than the actual figures. Okay, table shows information of numbers of fruit trees in an orchard. Apple trees are 45, pear trees are 20, plum trees are 25. Pictogram shows this information. Complete the tree for the pictogram. So I know my apple tree is 45, I know my pear tree is 20, I'm a 25. So I need to work out how much one of these triangles are. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 triangles equal 20. So I'll do 20 divided by 4, which I know is 5. So I'm going to put 5 here. Just to double check. 5, 10, 15, 20, good. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, good. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Done. Okay. There are 90 trees in this orchard. Draw an accurate pie chart of this information. Okay. First of all, we add these up. I actually know it's 90 because it says so in the question, but if you want to double check, it does equal 90. We need to change this 90 into 360 degrees because there's 360 degrees in the circle. Now, normally if this was a calculator paper, I'd tell you to go via 1, so I'd divide it by 90 and times it by 360, but it's not. So in order to know how can we get from 90 to 360, we just times it by 4. So each one of these I times it by 4. 25 divided by times by 4 is 100. 80 times by 4 is 80. And 45, that's the only thing I might throw you. So I'm actually going to do the grid method, just do a quick multiplying of this. 4 times 4 is 16. Add a 0, 4 times 5 is 20. Add them together, you get 180. Now, double check, if you add all of these up, it should equal 360, which it does. Now we just got to draw these. Okay. Now you get your protractor, put it in the centre. We need our 0 to line up to this line. My 0 is on the outside, so I'm using the outside. First one is 180, which to be honest with you, we should know is actually straight down there. So straight line going down. I'm going to put apple tree. My next one is going to be 80 degrees. So I'm actually going to flip my paper around because I always like working from the top. Put my tractor in the middle. My 0 is on the outside, so I'm using the outside. Double check. 80 is here. So I'll mark my 80. Just really mark my 0 as well. So I know this one here is actually going to be pear tree. Now this should be plum. Because that's the only one left and we shouldn't have anything left. But let's just measure it just to make sure it does equal 100 degrees. So I'm here. Now look this way. I'm actually using my inside 0. 100 degrees is there. Perfect. Okay, there's a lot to these questions. Sam buys 20 boxes of oranges. Each box costs £7. There's 25 oranges in each box. He sells 2/5 of the oranges and he sells them for 40p. The rest he sells 3 for 50p. Did he make a profit? Okay, now the first thing we need to do is to work out how much did he spend. So if he's bought 20 boxes of oranges and they cost £7, we do 20 times 7. Okay, 2 times 7 is 14. Add on a 0. It's £140. So he spent £140. So all we need to do is we need to work out how much did he earn, and if that's more than £140 he made a profit. If it's less, he didn't. Okay, So let's see. So if he's got 20 boxes of oranges and there's 25 oranges in each box, we need to work out how many oranges there are all together. So again, I have to do 20 times 25. Okay. Now this is a little bit harder, so I'm actually going to do the grid for this. Okay. You could just do 25 times 2 and then put a 0 on the end. But because it's a bigger number, let's just do the grid anyway. Right, 20 times 20 is 400. 20 times 5, so 2 times 5 is 10, add a 0 is 100. 0, 0. 400 plus 100 is 500. So he's got 500 oranges. I'm actually going to put oranges there. Make it clear for the examiner. Now if he sells 2/5 of the oranges, we have to work out 2/5 of 500. And to times by fractions, remember you can either times by the top or divide by the bottom, or divide by the bottom times by the top. In this case I'm going to divide first. So 500 divided by 5 is 100, times by 2 is 200. So he sold 200 oranges for 40p. So I need to do 200 times 40. 2 times 4 is 8, and I add on 3 zeros. Try and think about what unit is that in. Is that in pence or is it in pounds? Now because that's 40p up here, it's actually 800 pence. Now you can convert it into pounds if you want now, or I can do it later. I'm just going to do it a slight bit later. Now next bit, the rest, he sells 3 for 50p. Now if he sold 200 and he had 500, that means he's got 300 that he sold. And it's 3 for 50p. Now you want to think about how many times does 3 go into 300, which means he's got 100. So it's like 100 times he sold 3 lots of them for 50p. So it's really going to be 100 times 50. It's going to be 100 times he sold 3 lots of them, which would make up a 300. Okay. 1 times 5 is 5, add on the 3 zeros. Again, this is in pence. We have to add these two together, okay, to see how much that is. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. We worked out these £140. This is not £13,000, this is 13,000 pence. So to change it into pounds, we divide by 100. So it's £130. So if you think if he's made £130, he's spent £140, it means he's lost a tenner. Now make sure you've got to say no, he has lost £10. Students had some homework. 42 are boys, 8 of the 100 did not do the homework, 53 girls did do homework. Complete the frequency tree. Now let's fill in what we know. 100's already given. So 42 are boys. That's easy, I'll put 42 there. Now if we know there's 100 and the 42 are boys, the rest are girls. So we do 100, take away 42. Come do it longhand just to be safe. 0 minus 2 I can't do because it goes into a negative number, so I've got to borrow. I can't borrow because it's 0, so I have to borrow here. Okay, which makes that 10, which I'm borrowing to make 9, which makes this 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 4 is 5. So now the amount of girls are going to be 58. Okay. Now the second one, 8 out of 100 did not do their homework. I'm going to leave that to later. 53 girls did do their homework. So I know girls, and these did, so it should be 53. Now if you've got 53 girls who did do their homework, and you've got 58 in total, the rest are going to be what didn't do their homework. So you've got to do 58 minus 53. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 5. Okay, now we do 8 of 100 did not do their homework. So we know the girls that didn't do their homework, plus the boys that didn't do their homework, must equal 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8 makes 3. So we know this must be 3. So altogether, we know 5, 6, 7, 8 didn't do their homework. Now this box here, which is the last one, if we know 3 boys didn't do their homework, and there's 42, we've got to do 42 minus 3. 2 minus 3 I can't do because it goes into a negative number, so I've got to borrow to make this 3 and make this 12. Which makes that 9. 3 minus 0 is 3. So now this is 39. And this is my tree complete. Double check to make sure you have got these boxes in the right columns. Okay, because it's quite easy to put them like where she did the homework, where she didn't. Now the second one, which is always going to be this type of questions. So a girl was chosen at random. What is the probability that she did not do the homework? Now, the girls chosen at random is 58. So I know it's going to be out of 58. Okay, that she did not do the homework. It's going to be 5. So it's going to be 5 out of 58. Now check to see if it's going to be cancelled down. It can't, so you're fine. Okay, 2 7s plus 1/5. What stops us from adding these together is they've got different denominators. So we've got to find the lowest common multiple. So I'm going to list the multiples of 5, which is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Keep going, but I've stopped at 35. 7 up, it's 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. 5's in both, so I'm going to rewrite these over 35. To get to 7 to 35, I times it by 5 and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll times 2 by 5 to make it 10. 5 times 7 is 35, and if you want your test, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you've got times top by 7. Now my denominators are the same. So I keep the denominator the same, which is 35, and 10 plus 7 is 17. Okay. Next question. 1 2/3 divided by 3/4. Now this 1 2/3 confuses us. In every situation, I'll change this to a top-heavy fraction. So if you think of, so you do 1 times 3, which is 3, and add the 2, which is 5, which makes it 5 over 3. The other way you can think about this is this 1 is the same as 3/3, and 3 plus 2 is 5. I'm going to divide 3/4. Now it's a bit easy to deal with this. When you're dealing with dividing fractions, you keep the first one to keep it as 5/3. You flip the second one, which will make it 4/3, and you change the sign. Okay, now it's just top by top, bottom by bottom. Don't be confused with adding, where we keep the denominator the same. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, now this is an acceptable answer. But if you wanted to change it to a mixed number, you say how many times does 9 go into 20, which is 2 over 9. Because 2 times 9 is 18. 19, 20 means you've got a remainder 2. So it's 2 and 2/9. Both answers are the same. Okay, to solve this, we have to get the x's on one side and numbers on the other. There's 4 ways we could do. We could minus 4x from both sides, minus 5, minus 1x, or minus 26. Easiest way to start from your lowest value of x. So minus x minus x. 4x minus x is 3x. I haven't touched my plus 5. Remember your equal sign. X minus x cancels out, so I've got nothing, and I've got my 26. On this side, I've still got my 5, so I've got to subtract 5, because that's the opposite of adding 5. I haven't touched my 3x, so I'll bring it down. These cancel out to make it nothing. 26 minus 5 is 21. Here, because I'm timesing, you want to do the opposite, so we have to divide both sides by 3. 3x divided by 3 is just x. 21 divided by 3 is 7, so my answer is 7. Right, question 21, 6.34 times 5.2. Easiest way is just to ignore it. Ignore the decimal place. So do 634 times 52. And you can do this whichever way you want. I'm just going to use a grid method. So 634 times 52. 5 times 6 is 30. Add the 3 zeros. 5 times 3 is 15. Add 2 zeros. 5 times 4 is 20. Add 1 zeros. 2 times 6 is 12. Add 2 zeros. 2 times 3 is 6. Add 1 zero. 2 times 4 is 8. Now this is normally where people start messing up. So I'm going to clearly write out all these numbers again. And I'm going to make sure that they're in the right row. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 15. 200. 2. Oh, missed out. 60 and 8. I'll just put these at the top because I ran out of space at the bottom. Right, so 8 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 6. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2. And 3. So I've got my answer, I've got 3, 2, 9, 6, 8. Now obviously this is the answer to 634 times 52. Now there's 2 ways you can think about it. Either times this by 10 to get to 52. I've times that by 100. So my answer, I've got to divide by 10, then divide by 100. The other way to think about it is it's got 1 decimal place, 2, 3. So altogether there's 3 decimal places in the question, so my answer's got to have 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places, 3 decimal places. So my answer's 32.968. And we can check by estimating. Let's say I just roughly round this to 6, and I roughly round that to 5. 6 times 5 is 30, that's roughly about 30. Okay, there's loads of ways to do that. Expand, but I'll do m times m is m squared, m times 3 is 3m. I'll move on to my 7. 7 times m is 7m. 7 times 3 is 21. In every single case, we can always add the middle terms together, so these are the same. 7, 8, 9, 10, which is 10m, 21 m squared. Okay. Question number 23, where we have to find x. This line, and this line are all parallel. We've got 2 angles, CD, DB, and AD are all the same size. We can tell this because of the marks. Because that's x, first of all, you might think that all 3's are the same size. It's not, don't assume that. Now, your first thing to really think about is when you've got parallel lines, we've always got either corresponding or co-interior alternate angles. And there's different ways to solve this depending on which one you choose. But first of all, what I'm actually going to do, I'm actually going to go for this angle here. Now, if you look at it, I've got a little Z shape here, and the Z means it's alternate, which means it's 38 degrees. Now, you do have to show reasons for your answer. So my reason is angle EAB is alternate to angle ABD. Okay, just run that quickly for you. Now, we have got an isosceles triangle, and because they're isosceles, the base of the isosceles triangles are the same. Now, it's really, if I spin this round, that's really the base of my isosceles triangle. So it's this one here, that's going to be the same as 38. So I have to say the triangle ADB is isosceles, and the base of that triangle have the same angles. And now we know the 2 bases of the isosceles triangle, we can work out the top bit, because triangles add up to 180 degrees. So what I have to do is I have to do 38 plus 38. Okay, 8 plus 8 is 16, carry the 1, 3 plus is 6 plus 7. Now I'll do 180, take away 76. Okay, 6 plus 0 I can't do, so I need to borrow to make this 7, to make this 10. 10 minus 6 is 4, 7 minus 7 is 0, 1 minus 0 is 1. So this means that ABD is 104. And I'll write down angle ADB is 104 as triangles add up to 180 degrees. Okay, now I need to find this angle here. Now CBD and ADB are actual congruent triangles, which means that they're the same. So if we really want to work it out, this is 38 degrees because they're the same. This is 38 degrees because they're the same. This is 104 degrees because they're the same. And finally, if this is 104 and that's 104, then angles in a full circle add up to 360 degrees. So I'll have to put 104 plus 104, 802. I'm going to do 360, take away 208. 0 minus 8 I can't do, so I'll borrow 1. 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. So this angle here is 152 degrees. And I'll give the right reason. Okay, so here's all of the reasons. So angle EAB is alternate to angle ABD. Angle ABD is the same as BAD, as the base of isosceles triangles are the same. Angles ABD is 104, as angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Angle CDB is the same as ABD. Okay. Angle ADC is 152 degrees, as angles around the point equal 360. Now if we go back to the original question, there are other ways to do it. If you look here, you've actually got an arrowhead or a delta, which means this angle here is always going to be half of that angle there. And it does work up. That's a reason you could have used if you didn't want to skip around. We could have also joined these up, okay, straight down, which would have then made this a right angle. And then I've got that angle would be 38 plus 38 minus 90.
Gary drove from London to Sheffield. It took him 3 hours and an average speed of 80 km per hour. Lynn drove from London to Sheffield. It took 5 hours. Assuming that Lynn drove along the same road as Gary, did not take a break, work out Lynn's average speed from London to Sheffield. So, it took him 3 hours and average speed. Okay, it took 5 hours. So we need to work out Gary's distance. Okay, now it's the same road, so the distance is going to be the same. Then we can work out the speed. So, speed equals distance over time. Now, because this is actually taught in physics, some of you actually remember using the triangle. If you are using the triangle, just remember the distance goes on the top. I don't like using the triangle, so I'm going to do it this way. So 3 hours is going to be my time. Distance is what we need to find out, and 80 kilometers per hour. Let's just double check that's hours and that's hours, because sometimes they mix up the units. So to do this, we've got times by 3, times by 3, okay, which means my distance is 80 times by 3, 8 times 3 is 1624, is 240. So we know that the distance is 240 kilometres. So we've got to do this again, but for Lynn. Speed equals distance over time again. We've got the distance, which is 240. Okay, time is 5 hours, and it's in hours, it's not in minutes, so I don't have to do any adjusting. Equals your speed. I'm going to do it a long way. How many 5s into 2? It doesn't go, so 2. How many 5s into 24? Which would be 4. Okay, because 5 times 4 is 20. Means I've got 4 to be carried over. 5 times 40 is 8. So it's 48 kilometres per hour. Okay, right. If Lynn did not drive along the same road as Gary, explain how this could affect your answer to part A. Well, I'm going to say, as different roads may, and it's good to use the word may, indicate different distance, this will change the speed. Now I feel it's important not to say that the answer will increase or decrease, because we don't know. It just may change. And it's also good to say may, because different roads might actually be the same distance, so it could actually be exactly the same speed.
Right. In a company, the number of men to women is 3 to 2. 40% of the men are under 25. 10% of the women are under 25. What percent of the whole company is under 25? Now, we've got numbers to play with. We haven't really got a lot of numbers to play with. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of it, I'm actually going to say that there's 100 people in the company. Okay? I've randomly chose a number, and 100 is good because it goes into percentages. So from that, the number of men to women is 3 to 2. So I can sort of get like a two-way table going. Okay, so I'm going to put men, I'm going to put women, and then I'm going to put under 25, I'm going to put over 25. Okay, and then total, and total. Now two-way tables are good. It's something that kids always forget to do. Now I'm going to fill in what I know. I've put 100, and again this is a hypothetical 100, it's just because it's 100%. 40% of the men are under 25. So for the men under 25, it's going to be 40, it's actually the men to the women are 3 to 2. That's an easy one to do. So it's 3 to 2. So it's 3 to 2 in the ratio of 100. 3 plus 2 equals 5. To get to 5 to 100, I times it by 20. So 3 by 20 is sorry, is 60. So it's 60 men, and 2 by 20 is 40. Okay, and again these are hypothetical values which will come back later. Okay, now 40% of the men are under 25. So 40% of the men are under 25, so I need to work out 40% of 60. Use my calculator. So 40% of 60, so I know that 10% of 60 equals 6. So I know that 40% of 1224 is 24. It's going to be 24. Okay, so if I know this is 24, I have to do 60 minus 24 to get the one above 25. Can't do, have to borrow, make that 10, which makes that 6. 5 minus 20 is 36. Okay, 10% of the women are under 25. So I know there's 40 women in total. So I'm just going to say 4. So I know 10%, 40 is 4. So people are over 25, I've got to do 40 minus 4, which is 36. Oh, look at that same amount, that's nice. Okay, let's just add these up. So people who are under 25 is actually going to be 28, and the people above 25 will do 36 plus 36, because that's a bit more of a complicated sum. 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 makes it 7, which makes it 72, and let's just check if this makes 100, which makes 10, carry the 1, 7, 8, 9, plus 1 which carries 10, which makes 100. what percent of the whole company is under 25? So I really want this number here. Now, because I chose 100, and 100 is all of it, it's just going to be 28%. Okay? Same as 24% of the men are under 25, 4% of the women are under 25. Now, you might say, but if I add all of this up, I get 200. But think about it. This is like all the company. Okay? And that should make 100. This is like also another way of representing all the company if you wanted to do it in just total men and total women. And that's all the company if you wanted to represent it as under 25 and over 25. So my answer is 28%. We've got the plan view, we've got the front elevation, we've got the side elevation. Question 26 is asking us to draw the prism with all the dimensions. Now there's two ways you can draw it. It hasn't given us isometric paper, it's just given us squared paper. So let's think about your front elevation. So I'm just going to draw it. So it's going to be 3, 2, 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you think of prism, it's always good to draw your cross section and then just draw your diagonals. Now you might say, how do I know this length? Essentially, I don't. But I'm going to put the dimensions on just to prove the length. So the dimensions of my prism are pretty easy. This is 4, I'm going to call them centimetres, even though it's squares. It's also 4 centimetres, it's also my squares. My height is 2 centimetres. My width here is 3 centimetres. Now that's your diagonals, which the question really asks about. Now because this is a prism, these are all the same length. Okay? Oh, sorry, there's a measurement I've got there. So you've got to think, I can either use my side elevation. Remember, my side elevation is sort of like this one and that one. Or I can use my plan, which is like the other two. But even measurement's fine. So you've got to think this length and that length are all the same lengths. So it's going to be 3 centimetres. And that's all your measurements. And of course we can see that all of these are the same way we can see that those two are the same, so I don't have to put measurement in twice.
Here is a parallelogram. Work out the value of x and the value of y. Now you need to think about properties of a parallelogram. There's two properties we really need to know. Opposite angles are the same. Or we could think that if you add them all up, this is 360. Okay. I'm going to do the opposite angles the same. So we need to work out x and y. So I'm going to use these two. So I'm going to do 5x minus 20. This angle is the same as 2x plus 43. Okay, I'm going to solve this straight away. I could have done minus 2x because that's my lowest number of x's on both sides. These cancel out. 5 minus 2 is 3x. Minus 20 equals 43. I have to add 20 to both sides. These cancel out. 3x equals 63. I need to divide them both by 3. Divided by 3, divided by 3. X equals, I'm going to do this the long way. So 63. How many 3's and 6, which is 2? How many 3's and 1? So x is 21. Right. Now I need to work out the other equation, where it's got y. So let's do 4y minus 5x. So you've got to think of what equation can we make where you've got 4y minus 5x. That'd be the original one I just said. So plus 2x plus 43 plus 5x minus 20 plus, this is also 4y minus 5x. All of this equals 360 degrees. Okay, let's put all the x's together. So I've got minus 5 and a plus 5, this actually equals no x's. And I've got a 2 and a minus 5x, which is minus 3x. Okay. Let's talk about the y's. I've got 4y plus 4y, which is 8y. Let's do the numbers. I've got 43 minus 20, which is plus 23, equals 360. And I've got a value for 3x. X is 21, so minus 3 times 21 plus 8y plus 23 equals 360. 3 times 21, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, this minus 63, plus 8y plus 23 equals 360. I'm going to put my 23 and my 63 together, okay, which actually gives me minus 40, equals 360. I have to add 40. Add 40. 8y equals 300. Sorry, equals 400. Because 360 plus 40 is 400. Divided by 8, divided by 8. Y equals 400 divided by 8. That's a little bit of a hard sum to do, so I'm going to do my long thing, multiplication. 8 into 4 doesn't go, so put 0, carry the 4 over. 8 into 40 goes 5, 8 into 5 goes 50. So y equals 50. X is 21 and y is 50. That's it. Describe fully the transformation that maps A onto triangle B. Now A to B, now you've got to think of your three types of transformation. It's either rotation, a translation, or reflection. Now a translation would have the same orientation, so look exactly the same. It's not that. A reflection will be flipped, so it will look like there's a mirror line. It's not that. It's not enlarged as well, even though enlargement technically isn't transformation, so it must be a rotation. So you have to write the words rotation. That's one mark. Then you have to put the degrees. Now I like to put like an arrow, and normally you could do tracing paper. The arrow goes up, like onto this one. Now it goes to the right. So let's just check from A to B. So this is a 90 degrees clockwise. You could have wrote 270 anti-clockwise, and that would have been fine. Now your second point is your point of rotation. Now essentially what this is like trial and error. Normally you'd trace paper, you'd mark it, and you'd spin it around. But let's say that I guess this point here. Now this is 2 across, 1 up. It's got to be the same to this. So this is not, but the other way round. So the across goes down. It goes here. That's not right. So let's try the origin, which is always normally a good guess. That's a 1 across and 2 up. So when you rotate it, this 1 across and 2 up will become 1 down and 2 across. There it is as well. So just say that. It's 1 across going this way and 2 up. So when you rotate it 90 degrees, that 1 across becomes down and that 2 up becomes across. So you also have to put at the point 0, 0. You can put the word origin because that's also 0.00.